as you can see, I have installed the front pad, drilled and tapped it, put the screws in, and fitted it. So you can see there's a nice clean fit between the side of the receiver and a nice clean fit up here as well. It's not angled, there's no uneven gap in there. And on the rear, I have just put the pad underneath the scope. So I have not drilled and tapped it, and the reason for that is because I need to be able to adjust the level of my scope up and down. If you see on the far side of the shop, there's a chart that's directly above the drum. On that chart there's a mark, so I'm going to look through my bore. I'm going to center that mark in my bore, and then I am going to go up to my scope, and at a certain point my scope has to land on that chart with that mark centered. And if it's too high or too low, then what I have to do is I have to adjust the level of my scope up or down. And then once I have it set, I will mark the rear pad prior to drilling and tapping, and then drill and tap, and then I will install the screws for the rear pad, and then I'm going to adjust my left and right. So if my left and right need adjustment, I'll put shims either in front of the front pad or the rear pad to change the angle of the scope left or right, so that the tip of my vertical aiming post lands on, I don't know how well you can see this, but the tip of my vertical aiming post lands at a certain point on that chart with the mark centered in the bore. And that way the scope is centered with the bore of the rifle, and it's much simpler to zero it.